30 days until the exam. Plenty of time, right? No pressure at all. 20 days, still fine. There's a whole system, a whole plan. It starts next Monday. 10 days, okay, now it's getting a little tight. But hey, some people work better under pressure. 1 day. Pure panic. If this timeline feels painfully familiar, then this video was made for you, and here's the twist nobody tells you. Your problem was never laziness. This is Daniel. He's a university student and his final exam is exactly 30 days away. Tonight is the night. He sits down at his desk, opens the textbook to page 1, straightens his back and feels something rare and precious. Genuine motivation. He can almost see his future self walking out of that exam hall smiling. This is it. Tonight he starts. Then his phone lights up. One single notification, nothing important. It never is. He picks it up anyway and tells himself the most dangerous sentence in the modern world. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all. What could possibly go wrong in 5 minutes? It's now 1 a.m. 3 entire hours have simply evaporated. Videos, messages, endless scrolling. He can't even remember most of it. The textbook is still sitting there, still on page 1, and Daniel feels that familiar heavy wave of a guilt rising in his chest. Tomorrow, he whispers to the empty room. Tomorrow, for real this time. And this exact scene repeats itself, night after night after night. The same 4 steps like a broken carousel. Motivation, phone, guilt. Tomorrow. Motivation, phone, guilt. Tomorrow. How many times, you ask? 29 times. 29 identical nights. The night before the exam, Daniel does what every procrastinator eventually does. He drinks 3 cups of coffee, spreads a semester's worth of notes across his desk, and tries to compress 4 months of learning into 8 desperate hours. Somehow he passes, barely, and walking out of the exam hall, exhausted, he makes himself a solemn promise: never again. We both know exactly how that promise goes. Now, here's what everyone gets wrong about Daniel. His parents call him lazy, his friends joke that he has 0 discipline, his teachers say he just doesn't apply himself, and the saddest part? Daniel believes every word of it. But psychologists who actually study procrastination discovered something genuinely surprising. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is not a discipline problem. And it has absolutely nothing to do with laziness. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem. Let that sink in for a second. When Daniel looks at that textbook, he doesn't just see paper and ink. His brain sees a threat. He feels boredom. He feels anxiety. He feels the quiet, creeping fear of failure. The thought that maybe he'll study hard and still fail. Sometimes he feels all 3 at once. Inside his brain, 2 systems are fighting, and you can picture it as an arm wrestling match. In one corner, the limbic system, ancient, powerful, purely emotional. It screams, "This feels bad. Escape. Escape right now." In the other corner, the prefrontal cortex, the calm, rational planner. It quietly says, "But the exam is in 30 days. We should really start." And in that moment, in almost every moment like it, the ancient brain wins. The phone isn't the problem. The phone is just the escape hatch. And here's the cruel part. Scrolling the phone genuinely works. It instantly repairs Daniel's mood. The anxiety melts away, and for now, his brain takes careful notes and learns a simple lesson. Avoiding the book feels good. Do it again. That's the trap. Procrastination actually works for about 10 minutes. Then the debt comes back with interest. Researchers Fuskia, Sirois, and Timothy Pychyl studied this pattern for years, and their conclusion was elegant and brutal at the same time. Procrastinators prioritize short-term mood over long-term goals. In other words, we sacrifice tomorrow's self to comfort today's self. We hand our future self a heavy sack of unfinished work and say, "You deal with it." Daniel isn't managing his time badly. He's managing his feelings badly. And tomorrow's Daniel always pays the bill. So how do you actually beat it? Not with discipline, not with punishment. You beat it with tricks that calm the emotional brain. Trick number 1, shrink the start. Don't tell yourself, "I'll study all night." That sentence terrifies the limbic system. It's a giant, locked, intimidating door. Instead, say, "I'll read 1 paragraph." 1 paragraph, that's a tiny door with a welcome mat. Nothing scary about it. And here's the beautiful secret. Once you start, continuing is surprisingly easy. Starting was the only real wall. Trick number 2. And I promise this sounds strange at first. Forgive yourself. In a real study, researchers followed students across 2 exams. The students who genuinely forgave themselves for procrastinating on the first exam procrastinated significantly less on the second one. Why? Because guilt is fuel for the loop. Guilt creates bad feelings, and bad feelings are exactly what procrastination feeds on. Self-compassion cuts the fuel line. Beating yourself up is not discipline, it's sabotage. A month later, new exam, new night, same desk. Daniel sits down and the anxiety shows up right on schedule. It always does, and that's okay. But this time, he does two small things differently. He says, just one paragraph, and he leaves his phone in another room entirely. Then he starts reading. That's it. That's the whole victory. So the next time you catch your hand reaching for the phone instead of the task, pause. Ask yourself one honest question. What feeling am I escaping from right now? Boredom, fear, overwhelm? Name it. Naming it shrinks it. Then make your first step laughably, embarrassingly small. Because you don't need more discipline. You need a smaller door. And hey, if you watch this entire video instead of doing the thing you're avoiding, I see you, I really do. Now close this and go read one paragraph, just one. Subscribe for a new psychological story every week, and I'll see you in the next one.